Today on the record to get you to plead guilty.
No.
Anybody threaten you or coerce you?
No.
You're doing this voluntarily and of your own free will?
Yes.
And because you believe that you're guilty of this offense?
Yes.
December 20th, 2021, at the location of 9535 Chubb Road, Salem Township, Washtenaw County, State of Michigan. What'd you do when you, on that date, that makes you think that you're guilty?
I was going there to pick my son up, who I hadn't seen in 40 days. And they were trying to keep him from me. So I walked up to the front door. My son saw me through the window and ran to me. And as he got closer to the door, I put my hand on it and I opened the door. I took one foot inside the door. My other foot was on the porch. He jumped into my arms because he was 4. He hadn't seen me either. And I just held him and I closed the door behind him and I took him home with me. But I understand that I shouldn't have entered the home. So.
All right. And you didn't have anybody's permission to enter the home, is that correct?
Right. No, I did not.
Buckle up, guys. Today we're going to break down a courtroom moment that instantly pulls you in. The judge carefully confirms that the defendant is acting voluntarily, with no threats or pressure, before asking her to explain why she believes she's guilty. What follows isn't a typical confession, but an emotional story of a mother seeing her 4-year-old son after 40 days apart. From the very first seconds, the court is forced to balance law, emotion, and intent.
Let me ask you this. Are you a custodial parent?
Oh, yes. We were still married, so I had been trying to get him back, and it was considered a civil matter, and there was nothing anybody would do to help me at that time. Divorce was filed after that, and since then, now we have a custody arrangement, which I have custody. So, yeah.
Okay, so
We were married, and there was no custody arrangement at the time, which allowed him to do whatever he wanted and not let me see my son.
all right. So, all right, let me just ask this question, and far be it from me, I really don't want to be a family court judge. Just don't want to be that. But was there a parenting time relationship at the time that this occurred?
No, we were married. We were separated.
Your Honor, there was no court for or no.
Pardon?
There was no court order at that time for parenting time.
Okay, I guess what I'm trying to figure out, counsel, is if there's a child between okay, let me ask this. Ma'am, how far in the house did you go?
I had 1 foot in the front door and 1 foot on the porch. And that was just, he was running towards me. And when I opened the door as he came close, I hadn't seen him and I hadn't spoken to him or seen him in 40 days. So it was like an excitement to finally see him. I stepped 1 foot in kind of just for stability. He literally jumped in my arms. And then I closed the door behind him and I just took him home with me. I should have. I called the police on my way there. I explained the situation. I told them I just want to see my son. I just want to make sure he's okay. And they were going to meet me there, but I should have waited. Ideally, yeah. So that's why I'm saying I am guilty. I did go in the door when I should not have, but mother's instinct. I needed to see my son.
At this point, The courtroom zeroes in on exact details, and the tension rises fast. The judge asks how far into the house she actually went, and the answer is precise and vivid. 1 foot inside the door, 1 foot still on the porch, as her child runs toward her and jumps into her arms. She explains calling police but not waiting, admitting she crossed a line while driven by instinct. Every word adds weight to the moment.
Can I ask a question? And because I'm trying to figure out the home, was there a marital home between the two of you?
That was our marital home.
Okay, then
But we were
got a
separated,
problem,
so I had
folks.
left.
Hold it. It's just hold on, man. I got a problem, folks. I don't know how an individual is legally married to somebody. That is the marital home. Quite frankly, other than what may have been going on in her relationship, I don't know how she can illegally enter her own home. She has an indivisible right to those premises.
Your Honor, she was evicted from the residence in January 2020.
Evicted?
Correct.
Your Honor, questions.
Evicted. I don't know what that means. I mean,
Your Honor, if I can ask a couple of questions, fine. I think of the defendant, I think maybe I can shed some light on this.
okay.
The tone shifts sharply as the judge begins questioning the logic of the charge itself. From the bench, he openly struggles with how a legally married woman could be accused of unlawfully entering what she considered her home. You can hear the frustration and disbelief as he pauses the courtroom, signaling that this case is no longer straightforward. The uncertainty isn't just legal anymore. It's moral, and everyone in the room feels it.
Ms. Stamper, on that day, had you been evicted from the residence by the owner of the
Yes.
all right, and who was the owner of the home?
My husband's parents.
Okay, so the home was not owned by either you or your husband, correct?
Right.
Okay, and you had been evicted at the time that this occurred, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you did not.
Folks, I mean, here's going to be my problem. If they're married, the tenancy interest, does he have a tenancy in the premises?
That's hard to say. We were both evicted, but then he moved back in because it's his parents' home.
Yeah, so they were both evicted from the home. The divorce proceeding started in 2019. The eviction was in 2020. So yes, they were both out of the home, and then it appears his parents allowed him to move back to the home. There were some issues prior to this incident where it's alleged that the defendant was coming to the home and knocking on the windows and possibly banging on the doors to see her son. So there was other issues before this. So she had no permission to be on the property or in the residence.
Okay. And so if the divorce had been filed prior to this incident, there was no custodial arrangement?
Correct. There was no family court agreement at that point, but there was divorce proceedings already starting.
All right. Very iffy to me, but counsel, have I complied with the court rule?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, you have, Your Honor.
Regrettably, and with some great reluctance, court will accept the defendant's plea of guilty to this charge. Defendant is referred to probation for a pre-sentence investigation and report. Sentencing in this matter will be
Sentencing is June 14th.
June 14th, 2023, 9 a.m.
Then the facts drop that change everything. The home wasn't owned by either spouse, but by the husband's parents, and the defendant had been evicted long before this incident. Prior issues are mentioned, and the legal gray area tightens. Despite visible hesitation, the judge ultimately accepts the guilty plea with clear reluctance and moves the case toward sentencing.